a 3-step process on how your mentality should be when it comes to budgeting. Now you're probably thinking,
I don't want to see mentality.
because if your mentality isn't there, if you don't have these 3 steps, I could give you the best budgeting app or the best budgeting process, and you're not going to follow through. When it comes to budgeting, I'm going to look at it from a different perspective. What you're not going to get in this video is a budgeting sheet. You're not going to get a chance to look at how I budget. But what you're going to get is a 3-step process on how your mentality should be when it comes to budgeting. The first step is take stock of your habits. The habits that you have daily when it comes to your finances, the things that you do day in and day out. The current circumstances that you have today, as you sit there watching this video, your circumstances are different from everybody else. And we can all agree on that. If you look at your life from a perspective of a 1,000-foot view, you can change the habits that you have and that you've grown accustomed to. And this is the first step, taking a clear account of your habits and the way that you do life. Because if I, for instance, I could walk into your situation and being unbiased because I don't have any emotional attachments to your budget, to the way that you spend money, to the things that you find valuable. I could come in and I could reorganize that thing so you get a net positive at the end of the month. Easily. You could probably come into my life and look at my spending habits and my budget, and you could tweak it and make it better as well. Because you have no emotional ties to that money, to the way it spends. It's key to be objective and take stock of exactly how you are dealing with your money. That's the first step. The second and the biggest step is to change the habits that aren't helping you. I'm not saying it's easy, but that's why this is controversial, because I could step into your life today and I guarantee it that I could be like, okay, this is a waste, this is a waste. But again, you have these emotional ties to that money and to that activity and to those things. Step 2 is the one that requires you to change your habits. If you're unwilling to change those habits, okay, great, video's done for you. There's no need to watch because the rest is just pointless. But if you're willing to change and you're willing to get better and you're willing to cut things out of your life that you can objectively sit back and say, listen, you know what? There's better ways to do it. And if we're being honest, if you're sitting there right now watching this video saying, I struggle month in and month out and I don't know why I can't get to the end of the month with more money, you have to look at your habits. You got to look at the things that you spend your money on. And if you're telling me that you don't have enough money, again, I could come in, I could cut some things out for you like today, and I could save you money. When it comes to budgeting, these are key fundamentals that you need to gain to be able to then put forward a budget. Because if you're not putting forward a budget every month, or you don't know where money's coming in, where money's going out, you gotta sit down. And I know a lot of people are afraid to sit down and go through your spending on a month-to-month basis. For me, I don't need to look at it on a daily because I know exactly how much money I spend and where it goes, but that's just become habit for me. Now, can I change some of those habits? Can I get better at some of them? For sure. Everyone can. It's a never-ending process. The one habit I do want to promote, everyone needs to have a savings habit. Comment down below if you think the same or if you think differently. I got to hear this. People have gone away from the savings habit and they've gone for the home run. They'll get into Bitcoin, but they won't save on a monthly basis. But that savings habit you can implement in step 2. Taking a portion of your money every single month, regardless of how much you get paid. And at the start of the month, put it away into something. I don't care if it's a sock that you stuff away, $10 every single month. It doesn't matter. But it needs to happen. It needs to happen at some sort of scale. And the sooner you can start that habit, the better off you will be when you're in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Because this habit, if fostered correctly, it will only grow and get better, and you'll realize It's not that difficult. I've met and sat with clients that, they'll save for 3 months and then be like, well, I need that money back because I got a bill coming up. And those are the things that are difficult to be consistent. Just like anything, consistency is key. I'm telling you, you got to start a savings habit that you're comfortable with where you are today. After you've taken stock of your habits and after you started implementing some of changing those habits. And that first habit that you should start implementing is a savings habit. And step 3, continue to adapt and change the habits so that you can get to where you want to go. You can change your situation in the next six months to a year, and it could be a totally different situation for you. I totally believe that. Because if you can change the bad habits, if you can implement a good habit, then you can change the way that your life turns out. Now, I'm not saying, that you're not going to have misfortune and bad things aren't going to happen and all of a sudden, in six months to a year, you're going to be a millionaire. None of that stuff. Your budgeting comes down to habits. If your habits don't change, nothing changes. And if you're not consistent in those habits, then nothing's going to change. When it really comes down to budgeting, that's how simple it really is. And I see all these other, YouTube videos about these complicated things and how to budget and how to put away, and none of that matters. It's totally useless. Okay? I hate to say it. It's totally useless because unless your habits change, nothing changes. Let's compare these habits and this implementation of a budget and mentality of a budget to going to the gym. Now it's, the 22nd of January today or the 21st. And some people have already fallen away from their New Year's resolution to get better and to go to the gym, right? It happens all the time. And the same thing happens with budgeting because you have this drive and you want to change. It's the new year or whatever, and I'm going to get better. And what happens? Well, I didn't get paid as much as I thought I was going to get paid, and I got to go buy this, and this happened and that happened. Life happens. It happens for all of us. And so all of a sudden you start falling away. And your habit with budgeting is the same way. You need to find a drive, first of all, the motivation, and then implement the discipline to go through it regardless of what life throws at you. Now, there's seasons in life where things get really tough and you might not be able to go to the gym, right? It happened for me. I was at a hospital with my wife. I was gone for a week. I couldn't go to the gym. We were at the hospital. There was no way for me to leave my wife's side so I could go to the gym. But when I got back, I didn't sit back and say, hey, listen, it's none of that. I got back to the gym. And the same thing with your budgeting. So this is a budgeting video, but this is, again, it all comes down to habits. It's just how simple it is. This savings mentality about budgeting is key. Now, I will talk about investing and all those other things later on in a different video, but it comes down to the same thing. It's that simple. Sometimes people just don't want to change. If you're at a point where you're watching this video and like, man, I need some inspiration, I need a reason to change the way I do things, this might be the video for you. But I find with a lot of people, and I'm not talking about anybody specifically, but you could tell them everything. This is what I would do. This is how I would change. And they'll tell you, oh, you don't know my situation. But doesn't everyone have a situation? I'd love to hear some comments on what you guys think. And if you actually want to see what my budget looks like, what I do on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis, comment down below. Because I want everybody to be able to budget, and I don't want it to make it difficult, because it really isn't that difficult. So again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. I look forward to bringing out more content like this. Straight to the point, uncomplicated. And if you like this video, if you found some value, make sure you share it with your friends. Tommensense, because common sense isn't so common.